So, welcome to another episode of The Minority Voice. I'm your host, Jeff Vega, and we're here in Calhoun County. We've taken our show on the road, and today I'm happy to introduce you to Audra Johnson. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm living that wonderful dream,
That's right.
as I tell everybody. So, Audra, you are a Filipino American, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes. You know, you a lot like me. You don't look too Filipino.
I don't. I'm only a fourth. My grandmother was an immigrant after World War II.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, when people say, "Jeff, you're a Hispanic," I said, "Yes, I am a Hispanic, and I'm half." So, but that being said, so growing up as a Filipino, so did your family do all the traditional things?
We always had like the traditional, pig roast and definitely the food. I love my food. But actually, because of the situation that my grandma came from, she made sure that we honored our Filipino heritage, but she made sure that we all knew that we were American first, and that we were to kind of honor that.
You know, that's the same thing with my family.
Yeah.
My grandfather, I'm second generation Hispanic. Yeah. My grandfather, he was very adamant about, you know, he was proud to be in America, and he wanted us to be proud too, and that was a priority. So speaking of food, because I love to eat, so what's your favorite dish?
My favorite Filipino dish is adobo. Adobo. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a chicken dish.
Okay.
And it's got to be really, really bad for your health.
Okay.
It's kind
Most
of like
good foods are bad.
I know, right?
Okay,
I know,
yes.
right? So it's got like 3 sticks of butter, vinegar, garlic, and it just makes this amazing sauce. So you take the rice and then you just pour that sauce all over that rice.
I'm
and
loving it.
You go at it, yeah.
Awesome. So now, do you speak the language?
I don't. That was another aspect of my grandma. She always had this very, very heavy accent. So till the day she died, she had this heavy accent. But I do have Manawala tattooed on my shoulder, kind of as a tribute to her. But she didn't want to teach my dad and my uncles and aunts that language. She wanted to make sure that they were only speaking English. So.
Gosh, same thing in my family.
Yep.
My grandfather, he was very adamant about, the kids, they all spoke Spanish. His kids spoke Spanish, my aunts and uncles. It was like, speak English. All my cousins, my brothers, none of us speak the language.
Yep.
But it was interesting that when we'd go to family functions with all the family, the adults all spoke Spanish. But it's like, no, you're Americans. You don't need to learn the language. And as a result, regret it now. But I tell people I have trouble speaking English, so I don't know how good I would have been at Spanish.
Yeah.
But, well, also, there's another side of you, how we met. We were at a rally in Lansing, and you were there, and I don't know, somebody said, well, that you were half Filipino, and I said, wow, that's cool, because, the minority voice, I'm reaching out to minorities to share that. But you also have another thing about you, and you're running for Congress.
I'm running for Congress, and I'm going to be the first female to have the seat in this district. So I'm super excited about that.
And what district is that?
That's District 3.
District 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm running to take Peter Meyer out of that seat. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's going to be a tall task.
It's going to be a tall task, but I'm up for it. We've been fighting the last 4 or 5 years here in Michigan to make a change.
Okay.
We can't have another failed candidate. We're desperate for some real leadership here in Michigan.
So how did you get involved with politics?
I actually was a trained actor. Since I was 8, I was acting, and I wasn't like Brad Pitt, Angelina status, but I was able to make a pretty good living off of it. And I decided one day that I had enough of the Not My President marches in Grand Rapids. So I decided I was going to go down there with Trump is your president sign, and the newspaper decided to grab a picture of it, and the next day I was fired from all my agencies, all my connections. I have overnight somehow I became a racist Nazi.
Well, then I must presume then you're running as a Republican.
I'm running as a Republican, absolutely. It's either you're, Republican conservative or you're just crazy at this point.
Okay, all right. Hey,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know Peter Myers. He was one of the 10 who decided 2 weeks before Trump left office that he was going to impeach him.
Yep.
Can't figure that one out. But outside of that, what issues that you see that he just out of touch with the constituents?
So I think he just doesn't understand the people's voice. He definitely is never in the streets with the people like we are, like I am. He definitely doesn't understand the Constitution whatsoever. If you hate Trump, you still have to understand that his impeachment vote was absolutely unconstitutional. So what I want to do, and what we really need to be doing across this country, is just keep it simple. We need to go back to the Constitution. We need to understand that every American citizen has constitutional rights, and the people in D.C. need to be protecting it.
I can't argue with that because I tell you that one of the things that I see out there is we are lacking an understanding of our history and the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and so it's good to hear. So what do you think for you and your district too, because I'm on the other side of the state, what do you think is the number one issue that your constituents are concerned about?
Sure. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been in the district, we've been talking to the people, and they're talking about election integrity. They're talking about border security. They're talking about keeping, our rights, our constitutional rights. I know the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, very, very simple. The Constitution's not a living document. It's there in black and white. Nobody in D.C. gives us our rights. They're God-given rights. The only task that anybody in D.C. has is to protect those rights. They don't give them to us. And if we're very, very honest about everything, they've been failing.
Yeah, I think across the board, they have totally failed us. So let me just close with this one. I always try to do a little bit out of the box. This is a redistricting time of the year. I mean, this year, this election cycle. And what if they decide, and I don't know if they will, eliminate Fred's seats? So you've got a couple Republicans on either side of you. Will you move forward and go after one of those?
I'm moving forward. The people need a voice. And if we're honest, there's not very many quote-unquote Republicans that are doing much of anything but cowering to the left. So I'm moving forward. I'm going to be the voice for the people.
Well, that's good to hear because I tell you, I was just talking to somebody earlier, and it's like on the Republican side, out of the 50 they got in Washington, 40 of them, I have my doubts. But hey, you know what? Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
And, before we go, why don't you tell the audience your contact information?
Sure.
Because I know you need some money, right?
I need some money. Listen, we're going up, we're going up against Peter Meyer, and he thinks he can buy your vote. He thinks your freedom's for sale. You can go to audraforcongress.com. Sign up to donate, sign up to volunteer, donate. We're beating our fundraising goals time and time again, and we're doing that on small individual donations. We're not taking big PAC money. We're not taking money from corporations. This is going to be done with the Patriots. So go to audraforcongress.com.